Hello and welcome to Whiskey with Rye, where every week we talk about the distillery, the mash bill, and the nose and taste three different ways: straight, with water, and on the rocks. Whiskey I'm with this week is Mammoth Distillery Borrowed Time 10-year-old straight bourbon whiskey, which is a mouthful. Mammoth Distillery is in the Traverse City, Torch Lake area of upper, lower peninsula, Michigan. That's confusing, but if you look at Michigan, it makes sense. This is brokered barrels, it looks like. So I believe they brought in some external whiskey to blend. It looks like on their website they mentioned that their 10-year-old borrowed time is a blend of 4 barrels. So they're going for obviously a flavor profile here. This is a store pick by one of my favorites, Tippins, obviously. Got to get that actually in the shot for you. There you go. Yeah, so they don't have anything on the mash bill. I think that's primarily just because they do use brokered barrels. So, and there is older than 10-year-old whiskey in here. It's a 10 plus. So we actually have a sticker on the back. Those are becoming a lot more popular with store picks. 10 plus year old bourbon. So a blend with some older than 10, with some, minimum 10, but it is minimum 10 years old. We'll talk more about brokered at a later point in time. We may do like a dry week or something like that where we talk more non-tasting note whiskey information things. Yeah, that made sense. We'll go with that. So we're going to jump in to straight and do all of our notes that way. Again, special thanks to Podman Big Dev for the intro and the most recent editing that's been going on. So if it looks better, it's not because of me. That was a lot. It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't matter that it's 10:10 in the morning. It's fine. So as always, we're going to jump into our neat pour first. Stop licking. So immediately on the nose, you get those brown sugar, caramel, very traditional bourbon. Some cherry in there, and then the the corn will show up a little bit in the back end. You can tell it's older. It has more of that wood spice to it. And it mellows out nicely. Just kind of rounds out nicely on the end. Yeah, so we'll jump it. So on that first taste, it's very bold. And by bold, I mean I would say it's very wood focused, wood front. Some hints of butterscotch in the background. A little bit of caramel if you move it around. But really, you're going to get that oak. You're going to get those strong wood spices. Like it's peppery. So a lot of wood spice, a lot of just oak, which isn't too surprising from an older whiskey, right? Because it's had more time to interact with the wood. You're going to get a lot more of those flavors. It's nice. It's not sweet at all. Like there is no sweetness really to it whatsoever. And it does linger. It's thick. It's viscous. Yeah, I think it's viscous. So we are gonna. I did forget to mention this does come in at 107.64 proof. So it is high proof as well. So we are going to add our water. Sorry, that's a lot of the top of my head. That's why I'm wearing a hat. I am also going to add our Rockton now. So I did add more water than I normally do for the bourbons, just because it is higher proof. So we're trying to proof it down a little bit more and see, and obviously handy dandy Yeti. So I'm going to actually drop 2 in here. So we are going to try and proof it down, see if more of those sweeter notes come out with the water added. So I added about 5 or 6 drops to it. Sweet does not come out on the nose. Still very wood. It's kind of sharp. It's sharper than I would expect for a 10-year-old, but that's probably due to the proof. And by sharp, what I mean is the alcohol is really present. So you really have to back it off to get anything other than like the ethanol smell. And then it just kind of goes faint wood. Yeah, the water didn't really change the flavor at all. Maybe I didn't add enough. Let me add a couple more drops. So like I said, I added 5 or 6 already. And get that way up there. You can tell now that that was a lot more than I meant to. Oh, you can tell I've added a ring light. Thanks, glass. Way to be reflective. I'm just going to give that a little swirl. Try and get that water incorporated in there just to see what it does. But so far, there really hasn't been a difference. Yeah. Oh, there we go. So with that much water, the nose doesn't change. The front end of the taste was almost like cotton candy to caramel. And then the wood still takes over the finish. I mean, it's still nice. It's good. I'm enjoying the change in the bourbon. Like so often when you have bourbons, you know, and other people have talked about this as well, probably more eloquently than I could. But so often, especially bigger brands, you're getting bourbon flavors, right? Like they're not taking chances. They're giving you what you know you're going to get in bourbon: caramel, butterscotch, brown sugar, cherry, a little bit of oak. With these smaller craft distilleries, which Mammoth most definitely is, you get more variation in the different ways they're doing it, and more of those unique flavors are coming through. So with a 10 plus year old whiskey, you are getting more wood than you normally would in younger whiskeys. So if you enjoy exploring those flavors, this probably would be something up your alley. I am enjoying it. I do like it a lot more than their traditional bourbon. I'm looking at the bottle. That's why I'm looking over there. More than just their woolly bourbon. That is too young for me, or at least it was when I had it in the tasting room. I bought a bottle of it anyway, so we'll get to it at some point. But I enjoy this a lot more. It's a lot more complex, a lot more enjoyable. So now, obviously, Rock, you can actually see them now. Look at that. Okay, so that turned. What is that? It's almost like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Like it's a chocolate peanut butter, like a milk chocolate covered peanut butter. Yeah, that's wild. So it is still very wood focused on the taste, but Whereas straight or even with some water, it had jagged spikes. Like the spice would jump out at you here, or, just kind of go up and then plunge into nothing. This takes all those edges and just rounds it out. So this may be one that actually they designed with ice in mind for cocktails, that kind of thing, maybe. I would imagine this would probably be good in an old fashioned or a Manhattan. It just rounds it out as much as we all hate. As much as people hate this word in whiskey, it smooths it out. It's a lot smoother. But what I mean is it's not alcohol sharp. It's not one specific flavor sharp where like all you're getting is wood spice for 2 minutes after you drink it. What I mean by smooth is it's easier to sip. It rounds everything out. So all of the flavors are soft, approachable, and not going to just stab you in the tongue. That's what I mean by smooth. So I think for the first time ever on this channel, I would say taste-wise, I'll go ice, water, straight. Nose, straight, on the rocks, water. Just crazy. So, so that is Mammoth 10-year-old Borrowed Time, hand selected by Tippins. If you enjoy this, please make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it around. I'm going to be starting to see if we can get some other projects going. So please make sure you support us. And until next time, that's all there is, because there is no more. Cheers.